Hi everyone, Agnes here. Now in this video, I'm going to share with you how I manifested my dream work, even with doubt. So I'm going to share my personal story. I'm also going to share with you understanding doubt, strategies I use to overcome my doubt, and the persistence and consistency, the lessons learned, and then I'm going to give you a little summary at the end so you can apply it to your situation if you hate what you're doing for work right now. So, many people struggle with doubt when trying to manifest a dream job or work. In my own journey, it was exactly the same, and yet I have gone from working 5 to 6 days a week for a company and having a boss who had their foot on the back of my neck to being free, working 100% remotely from wherever I choose to be and no longer hearing an alarm clock. And I can hatch slowly, which I love. So I'm going to share a bit more about that for you now. My story, I worked in cafes. In retail, I was earning minimum wage and going home every single day with exhausted and aching legs. I always had to work weekends while most people I wanted to spend time with were off work, enjoying themselves, and we could never see each other. I also worked teaching French to children. I also really loved that for many years, but the noise and the screaming really got to me. And I really just couldn't do it anymore. It wore me down. So my first attempt at something on my own was teaching French to children. And I was doing this in small groups for my own business. And I was doing that just 3 mornings a week because I had to still have a job. And I had a job at that point in insurance, okay, which I was really bored with. But since it was flexi time, which meant you could start any time between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., I ended up, that's when I taught my classes, and it was before the kids went to school. So it was from 8 till 9 a.m., the classes, 3 mornings a week, and then I left straight away, got on the bus in Sydney, Australia, and then went to my insurance job. So it was a good starting point, and it was my first attempt at being my own boss, just even a little bit, 3 hours a week. So I just had to try and use the skills I had at the time, okay? I had lots of doubt about myself. I had lots of doubt about, is this going to work? Who wants to know about this? But apparently a lot of children in the area that I lived in, their parents were very attracted to French, okay? So that was just lucky. Now, I still felt inadequate. I had no education in teaching except for a diploma in performing arts. So I thought, okay, I'm used to performing. That helps me with teaching, which meant I could make it fun for the kids. But then I decided, hang on a minute, what if I combined the language with my dancing diploma? It was a performing arts diploma, but I majored in dance. So I then came up with an idea called France Dance to start a performance specifically tailored for schools to fit in with the school curriculum for those that had French in their curriculum from the ages of 5 to 12. Okay? So that's where it all started. And it was quite easy because I was already knowing in my local area the schools that taught French. I started with them. They booked the dance show. So what happened was I could work for an hour and I employed another dancer and paid them. I could work for a much higher rate per hour, and if I did 1 or 2 shows a week, that really boosted my income. So I started feeling really excited that, hey, this is a really good idea and this is a possibility to expand it. So I'm teaching the 3 mornings a week. I'm starting to introduce these classes, these performances, but I still have the insurance job. So I would take some days off to do the shows, and then eventually I dropped the insurance job completely because I thought, hang on, this is actually working let me, if I have more time, I can contact more places and then keep on top of that. It was a risk. It was a risk. I had massive doubts up to here, thinking, what if I can't pay my rent? What if I can't pay my bills? What if I can't buy food? But I just thought the suffocation factor from the insurance job just made me shut that door, and I took off and tried it. Now, I then approached, also because I was teaching the French before the insurance, and I was teaching it in a community center, I thought, hang on a minute, why don't I extend that to kindergartens? Kindergartens were teaching French as well. So I thought, maybe they might be interested in me teaching French from my native French roots and also incorporating a bit of dance. So that's what I did. And then I started to fill up my week. And the time slots would be on a rotation. So they might see me twice a week, one kindergarten, and it was just for an hour in the afternoon and then another hour on another afternoon. So some kindergartens started booking multiple classes. So it started to fill out my week. I started to make more money. I was in different locations. I felt free, and it was really great. So my freedom was beginning, and I really loved the kids from 3 to 12. They were fun, and they weren't screaming their heads off like they were when they were all in massive groups at school. It became so much easier. And the thing was, though, I would get big sums of cash. So they would pay for the term. So the parents would either pay the kindergarten and the kindergarten would pay me, or it was the parents directly. So I would get this big amount of money at the beginning of term, then I wouldn't get anything for like 8 weeks. And I wasn't very good at managing my money then. So I really had to, well, I wasn't learning that for quite a while, but I got better at it over time. I tried to keep the faith. I was partly free, despite being under pressure each month financially. I persevered until I tore my hamstring doing the dance show, and I could no longer dance, and I could no longer do that part of the business. So that died off after about 3 years. Now, it didn't matter because by then the French kindergartens had continued to grow. I kept thinking about, okay, how can I make this work? What can I do? In those days there was no internet. You weren't just marketing via email. You had to go and physically send a letter. They would receive it. They would call you, or they would, say, can you drop in and talk to us? And it just unfolded like that. So it was a very slow process, but it was an efficient process. It worked. And I was really enthusiastic, and I was really like, woo, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. And I was practicing that. So it really helped the success of it. I did have daily doubts, but creatively I was enjoying myself, being free, navigating the days and times for each new job, talking to people, knowing I was representing myself for the first time ever. And when they found out that I was born in France and French was my first language, then they wanted their kids to learn from a native speaker, so that really helped. Now, 15 years later, I had had enough of it. I needed a change. I ended up in retail, and I ended up where people that would come into the shops I was working in, they would do all the displays. And I remember thinking, oh, wow, that looks fun, that's creative. So I said to them, how did you get into that? And what did you do? Did you do a course? And I just got information from them because I didn't want to be stuck behind the counter dealing with customers all day. So I ended up finding out how to do it. And I didn't end up doing a course. I ended up training. There was a guy that used to work in the shop right next door, and he would come about 3 times a week. He was completely nuts. A complete weird person, which of course drew me to him. And I said to him, how did you get into that? And he said, why? Are you interested? And I said, yeah, I am. I'm just doing the displays here, but look at the stock here. It looks shabby, because I was in a low-grade retail store with really cheap and nasty stuff. So we would talk, because he was a total extrovert. He would come in. Every time he went to do the job at this shop right next to mine, he would come in and talk to me. One day he walks in and he goes, do you want to get out of here? And I'd been practicing. I am a visual merchandiser. I am free. I move from place to place. I have different locations. I love it. I love it. I love it. I was doing this regularly. So in he comes. Do you want to get out of here? And I thought, oh, wow, the magic words. And here it was. Here it is. He offered me a freelance job 3 days a week with the company he was working for. And I said goodbye to this current job. The homewares were really good quality. It was really beautiful stuff to work with, and I felt really excited. So I ended up doubling my wage per hour, and I was doing creative work, and I wasn't in the same location each week. Did I still have to get up early? Yeah. Did I still have to hear an alarm clock? Yeah. At this point I did. But the thrill and the joy of it was I was elated. So it really helped me to feel the freedom. And it was a great stepping stone. So eventually I got sent to different locations around Sydney, Australia, in the big shopping centres on my own because I was trained up. I got paid double, which I was really happy for. I was able to buy lunches in nice places. I'd get a little sushi, I'd get a little this, Thai food or whatever, and I was able to spend a little bit more, which really helped me feel good about myself. And I did love this job so much. Fast forward 5 years or so, my body was weary because I was exhausted and I was moving furniture. You're not just doing vases and cushions, you're doing big installations, especially for Christmas, Mother's Day, etc., Valentine's Day. So I was doing all of that. Injured my lower back, had to take some time off, which started off as 3 months. And then the doctor said to me, the physio doctor that was checking me, he said, look, if you were in another industry, I could send you back for light duties, but in your job, there are no light duties, so I can't send you back. 3 months turned into 6 months, turned into 12 months. In that time, I thought, hang on a minute, I don't know if I want to go back to this job because I might jeopardize what I've done. The healing part. I don't want to go back to zero and start from scratch. This has taken a year to fix. So I had a fear of going back. I had a doubt about myself, about being able to do that job. And I had even bigger doubts about what else can I do. Oh no, now I'm at a fork in the road. I'm getting older. My skills are in this. I can't do it anymore. What am I going to do with myself? So I had a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of panic, a lot of anxiety at this point. I had a desire, just wanted to work sitting down. So I then started, because I'd been reading Neville for a long time. I'd been doing Law of Attraction for about 20 years at this point. So I thought, well, now it's time for you to apply all of this and get better at it. So I started a coaching course. I just thought, you know what, this is good for my personal development, and then I can see what can happen with it. And I finished my qualification, and then I was free, but I had no clients. And then I was thinking, you are now going to be in serious financial trouble if you don't pull something out of a hat very soon. So I kept learning. I kept trying to learn about marketing. In those days, it wasn't like it is now where it's on every corner. It was, I had to go somewhere to do a marketing course, but everything in the marketing course that I learned, which I had done at Heathrow in London, near the airport, when I came to see my person who I'm now with, which I shared in another video, which I'll put at the end of this video, how I manifested the impossible in my relationship. It's tied together with this work stuff. So I did this marketing course. I'm sitting there going, hang on a minute. They're talking about all this stuff that, call to action and do this and do that. And I thought, this goes against all the law of attraction stuff. I can't do this. I look like an idiot. So I abandoned that and I did a lot more visualizing. I did a lot more people come to me by word of mouth, and I had done a few YouTubes for my course, which, if you want to have a laugh at how terrible they are, go back to the first videos that I did 10 years ago. They are terrible. But I've left them up there because many of you contact me about starting a YouTube channel, and it's good for you to see how it's changed. You learn, you get better at stuff. So those little videos were starting to get a bit of traction. I'm thinking, what? This was just an assignment for the coaching course. So people started to watch them. I just put my email down in the description and put coaching, email me. I didn't even have a price list. I had to make one up when the first person contacted me. I didn't know how much to charge. And then I went through all the doubt and panic about that. Once I got to that point, I remember the first month I made about $1,000 and Australian dollars. And I remember thinking, wow, that's really great. The second month I made 4,400. So it had gone up that much in one jump. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I got to make more videos, because that was obviously bringing me the work. So that's how it all happened. And it really was such a process of combining all the things that I did. And now I'm going to share with you what those things are. First, understanding doubt, okay? Because that's what this video was about. The doubt is a normal part of the process. Don't think you're doing something wrong. You're human. You're not a robot. You're not AI. You're going to have doubts, okay? So it's part of the manifesting process. Even for seasoned manifestors, they have doubt too. I have doubt too sometimes about certain things. Still today, 30 years later. But I just go through a little process and then they go. And I just practice Ho'oponopono, and I just go into the toolkit and I get those things out and I do it. So just know that doubt doesn't mean failure, okay? It doesn't. Now, number 3, strategies I use to overcome my doubt. A, powerful affirmations. I am free, I am successful, I am working for myself. I wake up without an alarm clock and I work half the hours for twice the pay. That's the strategies. One of the strategies I used was strong affirmations. Okay, they weren't robotic, they were with feeling. I had to affirm something instead of being negative, so it was better doing that, even if I didn't feel it straight away, and then the feeling came over time. Okay? B, visualization. I visualized my perfect day, and it went something like this. Wake up naturally, have a chai, do my yoga, do my rowing machine, start work at 11 a.m., work 3 hours, have a break, have a bit of lunch, work 3 hours, again, finish, go for a walk for an hour, do my sit-ups, my arm weights, my meditation, cook healthy food, eat, watch Netflix. That was my perfect day. And 4 days a week, okay? C, gratitude. Anytime I would hop in the shower, as soon as the water would come on, 20 things I'm grateful for. About my current situation, about other people, anything. Didn't matter what it was. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. D, surrender. And I did that by saying, thank you, Source. I surrender, I let go. I hand this over to you. My business, my work, me being of service. And E, it was about inspired action. Only taking inspired action. Anything that excited me, I would jump in and move towards it because I knew the impulse of inspired action. I knew how it felt. So I thought if it just feels kind of then I didn't do it. But if I felt that rush of, yes, I like that, I would go and do it. Now, the next one, as in what I did, was persistence and consistency, okay? I followed my 4-day-a-week plan, my affirmations, my meditation, my visualizing, and I also practiced I trust, okay? I trust the universe even when there's no results showing. And I practice that. I trust you, meaning the universe, okay? Now, lessons learned, self-compassion. Remembering the turtle wins the race. This was not a fast race for me. This was slow, but it had stepping stones of consistency, of progression, and things getting better. Now, doubts can be transformed with focus as well. That was the lesson that I learned. And you're not doomed just because you have doubts. If you're in a situation right now where you hate your job, it's not forever. unless you keep doing the same thing over and over. I'm stuck here, I'm stuck here, I'm stuck here. You got to practice. I am free. I am financially free. I love my job. This is the best work ever. You've got to get that stuff going because you can't be focusing on the problem and activate a solution. It doesn't work. Now, the final thing was importance of maintaining a positive mindset. Really important. That was one of the lessons learned. Now, you can break free of what you're doing for work right now if you don't like it, even if you hate it, even if you use the word, I hate it, okay? Remember, it's not about being special. It's about daily effort, okay? There's no shortcuts here. There's no doing things for 10 minutes for 30 days here, okay? That's kindergarten stuff. If you want to do and get the real work that you're really meant to do and you love it, you have to dig deeper than that. Forget these 30-day things. This is a lifestyle. It's not 20 days or 30 days. It's a lifestyle. You got to call this up, and then when you get the job, you got to maintain it, okay? But you can do it. You can do it. Now, there is also the surrender. It's really important in the process. You got to surrender and let go. Do your work and then let go and go on and do other things. Letting go is putting your full focus elsewhere, okay? So do that and develop trust. Say, I trust you, I trust you. Practice it. You got to practice trust. It doesn't come naturally to most of us. It certainly didn't to me. So even when the doubts creep in, practice that. Now, the final part in summary, okay? Clarity, write down what you want. You need the clarity. The universe loves clarity. It can't deliver to you a fuzzy target, okay? Understanding doubt is normal. Also, put the strategies in place to deal with the doubt when it comes up. And persistence and consistency. Set alarms on your phone. I mean, eventually, we ended up with mobile phones and I use that a lot. Set alarms. Alarm to remind you to do this, do that, do that, do that. It's like your personal assistant. Also, surrender and trust and faith. Speak faith-filled words about your dream job. And do not speak fear-filled words about your dream job. You got to give that habit up, okay? Also, the last thing, maintaining a positive mindset, which if you've been on this channel for a while, you already know that that's important. So that's it. Dream job, dream work. It might be a job for working for a specific company. It might be starting your own business. It does not matter. It's just that you're doing something you love, whether it's creative or technical or whatever you prefer, working with animals, whatever it is, get clear about it, okay? Now, last and final thing, 3 new members on this channel. Angie Kalopoulou, welcome. And Purna Chandra and Jazz JK, you are the newest members on this channel, and I will be doing some more members videos for you because there are videos to do every month, a couple depending on what tier you're in, for those of you that can access them. Lots of love. I'll see you as always in the next YouTube. Let me know where you're up to with this and let me know what you're doing. And if you are feeling doubt, hopefully this helps you to combat that so you can be free. All right. Lots of love. See you in the next YouTube.